Nike is struggling to sell shoes online. They are crawling back to an old partner. Stay tuned and let's discuss.
Step on up, grab a chair, take a load off your feet. There's whiskey on the table and stories to repeat. We're talking about the hustle, the grind, and what we'll find in the heart of second chances where treasures bind.
Welcome everyone to the video. Welcome to the channel. This is the resellers, the poor resellers. Oh, I don't even remember my own title, my own name of my show, but it's the Poor Resellers Almanac. And here we're going to discuss. They're not just reselling, but what's going on in the economy, what's going on with other companies, businesses, what I see on YouTube, anything like that from the reseller community. We will also be discussing whiskey because I like whiskey and it's my show. So that's what we'll be doing. What do we have? So I was over at Costco. I was looking for some new releases, anything like that. Nothing. It's kind of a slow season right now, or the slow season right now. But so I went ahead and I didn't pick up anything. I was thinking of getting that Chris Stapleton whiskey. I'm not really a fan. So when it comes to music, and country music, I really don't listen to anything modern. I started out listening to country music, which is why a lot of my intros are country based, because as a kid, that's what my parents listened to, and I listened to what my parents were listening to. So growing up, that's pretty much all I listened to. As I got older, started going to school and all that, then I branched out into other types of music. But I'll always go back to country music. I don't really follow any of the more modern artists. I don't really listen to the regular radio. It's all Amazon Music, and or YouTube Music as well too. So I was gonna get the Chris Stapleton whiskey, but I was reading some reviews on it, and everyone is saying that it's just unmemorable. And so, I've had several instances where I purchased bottles, and it's just it's kind of like, man, that's it, man. And I didn't want another bottle of meh. And, I think it was $35 a bottle is what it was. So I passed on it. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. I'll just get something else. But it is from the Buffalo Trace Distillery, which Buffalo Trace is in my opinion, a great bourbon. And so kind of surprising that it didn't get a similar review as other Buffalo Trace bourbons, but nonetheless. I went ahead and reached in the cabinet. I pulled something out of the cabinet here. We got an Alexander & Murray. So this is the from Costco. This is their a distributor that they purchase from and supply a lot of their merchandise in store. Like if you look at the Costco branded, if you have that available in your area, the Kirkland branded, you look at the back and they'll say Alexander & Murray somewhere on the bottom. But they do like these special releases from time to time. There's one right now which I wasn't sure if I really wanted to pull the trigger on it. I was actually thinking of getting the Angel Envy Rye, which they do have. The only issue is it's finished in rum cask or rum barrels. And I don't particularly care for whiskey that's been finished in rum barrels. It's just not maybe I haven't had the right one. But I was like, I decided not to do it, even though I love, Angel's Envy's just their normal release is very, very good. And that is finished in red wine barrels, if I'm not mistaken. Really good. But rum, I haven't found a finished rum cast that I like. So I passed on that. And so that's why we're going to the Alexander & Murray. This is from the Bricolage Distillery, which make incredible Scotch whiskeys. And this is no different. This is a cask strength. It's aged 12 years. The cask strength, so it's going to come in hot at 56% alcohol. So you can double that and you get the proof. But a really good one, as you can see, I've already partaken of this, and it's not because of the cask strength. You just don't throw it back like a shot. Just make a big old pour of this. So you really gotta take it in, enjoy it, and you can add a little bit of water if you want. I don't particularly care to add water to this. Once I do, some of them I don't. I typically lean towards not adding anything to my whiskey. It just really depends on the whiskey and sometimes the time of the year as well too. Obviously during the summer, I'd want more. It's hot, so I want something that's cold. But this is something I typically do not add anything to. It is a nice artificial looking cork, I believe. I haven't had this in a while, but I do remember it being quite hot. As a matter of fact, I've had higher proof whiskeys before, and this actually hits a lot harder than some higher proof whiskeys. So, we're not going to pour too much because it is a high proof. But look at that nice light golden, even for a 12-year-old, it's a nice light golden brown color. There is a Scotch whiskey which kind of gets some, it gets some bad press because they do add caramel coloring to it to get it more, get that more golden look to it, as opposed to just aging it more. They add a caramel color. It's Dalmore. That's right. Dalmore gets a bad rap for that. But I don't particularly feel I've had Dalmore before. It's not maybe it's because of the caramel coloring. I don't really like it. It's not my favorite. So I don't really want to, and it's expensive too. So I don't really want to spend the money on it if I don't really care for it that much. Maybe in the future I'll do a review on it or something, and we'll see. But Bricolage, oh, I like Bricolage. It's a very good whiskey. Everything they make, very, very Scotch, funk. You get that sweet candy, sweet berries, fruit, very fruity, hot, definitely hot. Comes in, it hits you. It really, really like slaps you in the face. This is hot. But it's very good. It's very. I think the heat. It's more. Think of like Mexican candy. If you ever have like the those sweet mangoes, like the mango candy with the chili all around it. That's what that is. It's right here. It's right here in this glass. That's what it is right there. It's like hot fruit. And as you're sipping it, when you breathe it in, you really get the whole, Scotch whiskey, just the aroma just fill your nose, fills all your sinuses, and it's really, really good. I don't think Bricolage, the normal regular Bricolage release is really, really good. I don't have it anymore. I thought I had another bottle of a Bricolage, but I don't. It's the only one I have right now. And but it's just it's really, really good. It's so I can't. It's not. Oban is my favorite Scotch whiskey, favorite whiskey overall. But this is right. I mean, I think I said that about everything. This is right up there. This is right up there with all other Scotch whiskeys. It's just so good. It's such a nice. It's not like an Isla Scotch whiskey, so it's not one of those acquired tastes, the pea or anything like that. This is so good. So good. Just a great addition to my collection of whiskey. And, I might not ever see this again. That's why I take my time with a lot of these, especially something like this, because this is a special release at Costco, and I might never ever see this again. So I take my time. I enjoy it. I'm definitely not somebody that, there's a lot of collectors that will keep bottles and keep them sealed and, oh, don't touch that. Don't touch that bottle. We're going to save that for a special occasion. But when that special occasion never comes, I'm in the camp of definitely breaking open the bottle, enjoying it, and, enjoying it by yourself or with family and friends as well, too. And this is definitely one that I bring out whenever I'm having friends over or anybody, and they want to taste whiskey because they know I have a lot of whiskey. And they go, oh yeah, let me taste some whiskey. This is one I definitely bring out for them to taste because it's just such a first and foremost, cask strength Scotch whiskey does tend to be a bit pricier. So a lot of people don't, it's a lot of money. Whiskey is a lot of money. And when you start talking about Scotch cask strength whiskey, it starts to get up there in price. And so, I definitely, want I still want people to enjoy it and people to try it, just what do you call it? What's the expensive bourbon is, which I'll tell you, it's not even like, it's not even like the greatest in the world, but it's super expensive and it's, I don't even remember the name, like Van Winkle or, Old Pappy. I can't even remember the name off the top of my head because there's just so much whiskey out there that is, good, better in my opinion. Um, but nonetheless, this is a very, very good whiskey. And, it is one that I will bring out whenever somebody wants to try a Scotch whiskey or any whiskey in general. It is one I will bring out for them to get to try. Obviously the cask strength, not many people are used to that cask strength. It really, really does slap you in the back of the throat, on that first sip if you're not ready for it. And the funk, when I talk about the funk, think of if you like, like the best way to describe it is if I like cheese. It doesn't taste like cheese. I'll tell you that right now, but it has that funk like that cheese has, like Parmigiano Reggiano, blue cheese, but it's still so good. I mean, I know some people that don't. My mom does not like Parmigiano Reggiano or Parmesan, whatever, or even just the one we have here in America, the craft Parmesan. She doesn't like the smell of it. And I get it, I understand it, but man, it is so good. And then blue cheese, blue cheese is so good, but man, it is funk. That is a funk. But it's good. It's really good. I like blue cheese burger. I was telling my wife too. And the reason why I bring it up, because I was telling my wife I was feeling like I was craving a blue cheese burger. We ended up going to In-N-Out Burger. We're over here in California. So I ended up going to In-N-Out Burger. Never didn't get a blue cheese burger, but blue cheese burger, really good. But I don't like blue cheese dressing though. I can't stand blue cheese dressing. I like blue cheese crumble or, kind of melted a little bit, kind of, just, put it in the salamander. So it just kind of melt over the burger a little bit. I like it in crumble form. Okay. So we are going to address, what I mentioned earlier, which was the Nike and the other subject of shoes. My tablet is stuck on the screen. There we go. On the subject of shoes, we were at Goodwill today. It's on Saturday, by the way, because I was tired and I didn't feel like making a video while I was tired because I feel like I would just ramble on like I typically do ramble on. So I didn't want to do any more of that. But we're at Goodwill today. So today's Saturday morning and check these shoes out. Let me know if you know what these are. Drop a comment down below, but I'm gonna tell you what they are shortly. But take a look at these shoes. Boom. Boom. These are vintage 1991 catapults. Catapult was by LA Gear. And who wore these shoes? Not these shoes specifically, but who wore this shoe? The mailman. And who's the mailman? That's Karl Malone. Really cool. They're size 9.5 men's. So obviously he didn't wear these. 1991 LA Gear. These are actually banned by the NBA because of, oops, I hit the mic. Because of the mechanism in there, which is underneath there, which, they felt, gave the player an advantage. So these were banned, and I think they're still currently banned. They have some more modern variants of it, but this is the one I remember when in 1991 when they came out, or I don't know, did they come out in 1991 or before that? But either way, I remember when they first were released. I remember when Karl Malone was wearing these, and I remember when they banned them. So really cool. Found these. I don't know what they go for. There's really, really no data to tell me what to go on. There is a listing for a game used pair for $2,500. There is 2 signed copies of the shoe by Karl Malone, listed at $795. So what an actual pair of the shoes, not signed, anything like that. I don't know. I might list them 300-400, maybe 500 at the most, maybe less than 500. These are, I would think the sign would bring quite a bit. But a few $100s at least is what I'm thinking, and I'm going to list them and accept the first person that offers me over $100. So send them on their way. We paid it was $9 and some change. So let's just say $10 for the shoes. So really, really cool. I saw them on the shelf and I'm like, hey, look, I know, yeah, I didn't know exactly what they were, but I did see them like that. And I saw mailman on them. I was like, wait a second. And I picked them up and I was like, oh, they're the catapults. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. So the other ones, they're not in wearable condition. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I were to do the bend test on it, it would start to crumble. I'm not going to clean them and sell them as is. The other pair, this part was actually coming off. So it's flapping a little bit on the other pair. So they're definitely not in wearable condition and more in collectible condition. And I dropped short on that too as well. So that was really cool find of the day. Not that I'll do cool finds every single video, but I thought I'd bring that up because that's pretty cool. Um, uh, I was watching a video and I was watching, let me know what y'all think of this, but shipping golf bags. Now I've shipped golf bags before and a lot of people, and the reason why I even bring it up is because I got some heat a little while ago. I've joined, I've been in and out of, different reseller groups since I was first aware that there were reseller groups out there. And I've been bouncing around between reseller groups, really looking for a community of people that that could help me. I mean, I feel like, as an advanced user of eBay, reselling, whatever, I have a lot of answers. And, so whatever I need, I have a question, it's it's really like I have a question, I have a big question. And I have found some groups helpful and some groups just not helpful. A lot of groups are the same. Most groups are the same. Um, there's if you join these Facebook groups and all that, there's a lot of it really doesn't matter what group you're part of. There's always drama and everything in all these groups and a lot of complainers. And I'm definitely trying to be a part of something not necessarily bigger, but a part of something that I can really, really, provide not just help, but encouragement um and a group that can help me as well too, of course, whenever I need help. I don't always need help, but there are a lot of people that do need a lot of help. And so I don't necessarily always need help. I'm more than willing to always help out people and their questions and everything. Um, but one video, so someone was asking how to ship a ball out, a basketball. I said, uh, um, large padded poly bag because that's how I've shipped them out before. I've shipped out baseballs like that, footballs like that. It really depends also too on the price range. Like if something goes for quite a bit, then it will justify for me at least to put it in a box. But for the most part, $15-20 or so, I'm talking a padded poly bag. And there's really no breakable parts on it. I mean, and could it end up like on some, getting get thrown around on some spikes maybe that could damage it? But there's really no breakable parts on it. And I've done it before, done it many times. It makes it there safely. If you see my what do you call it? What's old videos? I will ship glass. I've just shipped some paperweights in a padded poly bag. Piece of cake. I've been doing it for so long. I've had, I've develop not the skill, I guess maybe some skill, but develop the loss of fear of shipping items in that way. Just make sure they're padded properly. That's it. Use bubble wrap. And I think one of the biggest problems is people think bubble wraps are very expensive, which it can be if you're buying it from Walmart, Target, Office Map, wherever you get your bubble wrap. You got to really find a great source for bubble wrap because it can be relatively expensive, but you got to buy in bulk. That's the trick there. You got to buy it in bulk. Um, but everyone was like, "No, you got to put that in a box. No, you got to put that in a box. No, put that in a box. Put that in a box." And then the owner of the actual group was like, "No, it's definitely you need to be putting that and shipping that out in a box." I'm like, whatever. And then I just kind of stopped, responding to that. So that brings me to what I'm going to discuss right now, which is shipping golf bags. Now, I hear a lot of people say They wrap them in large garbage bags. They get black garbage bags, heavy duty, or we're gonna make it a little bit better. We're gonna make it a heavy duty garbage bag. I don't know, like the outdoor ones. Construct, what do they call contractor bag or something. Now, of the golf bags I've seen, and I've seen a lot of golf bags, and I've shipped golf bags. There are parts on there, like plastic parts, wheels, stands that can easily be broken. I've broken them before. Um, uh, and so, shipping in a bag, I don't know. They didn't specify whether or not they wrap bubble wrap around it or anything like that, or they put in any extra packaging, padding or anything. But a ball, a basketball, football, whatever, baseball, there's no breakable parts to it. There's no, if it gets punctured, yeah, it can get punctured, but there's no breakable parts at all on it. There's no plastic parts. There's no wheels. There's no stand for it. So perfectly fine. And I've done it on many occasions. I still do it to this day. Send balls in padded poly bags. But sometimes I send a regular poly bag. It's maybe on the price. If it's just a cheap little thing, I'll throw it in a regular poly bag. And it's made there perfectly fine. But a golf bag, to me, sending it any other way than a box is, apparently they've had success. Okay. So apparently they've had success that I don't know. They never said they had any problems with it, issues with sending it that way at all. They just said that's how they mail it out. So basically, the assumption is they have no issues in the shipping process getting to the customer, and no issues or anything like that. Even the insides of these things, like sometimes they have like plastic to hold up the shape as well too. And I would think if it gets, like another large box gets thrown on top of it, it might just crunch it. But I don't ship enough because I don't like to source. I don't really like golf really. So I don't really source golfing stuff. I was just talking with Michael, a picker of how I don't like, I like the idea of selling golf equipment, golf clubs and all that. It's very easy to ship and, but I just don't like it. If I don't like it, I'll be discouraged. So I just generally don't like it. I ship golf bags. I have shipped them before. I get a box. Typically, it has to justify the box. I'm going to go out and buy a specific box for it. And that's from U-Haul. They have these big, giant Latin boxes. And those are the ones I get. So they do cost a few bucks, a box. But I don't sell enough things of that size to justify me ordering those boxes in any, type of bulk form. So, when I do sell something that is going to require that type of box, I'm already thinking in my head, I'm gonna have to go to U-Haul to get a box. How much am I going to be able to sell this for? What's my profit margin going to be? Does it justify me going to go get a box like this, for this item? And that's my feeling on it. I just feel that, golf bags or any type of item such as that, have breakable parts on it and around it, that could be broken in transport. And I don't think that wrapping it in a large garbage bag is the appropriate way to send it. And definitely don't be criticizing me for putting things in poly bags if you're throwing a garbage bag on a golf bag. May I remind everyone, I've been doing this for reselling, that is, since 99. I've been reselling since 99, online on eBay. In the beginning, obviously not so much buying, yes, not selling. But I've explained that before in previous videos. And but golf bags, I definitely believe, require a box. And I believe it is also, golfing tends to be more of an expensive sport. The equipment tends to be expensive. So, I want to definitely make the customer feel that with the packaging as well too, that I took the care and the effort and the time to get this to them appropriately. But then again, I'm not sourcing like every single golf bag I find. It's really, really got to be a special golf bag. And I'll tell you what, I haven't found a special golf bag in a few months. So, all right, enough to justify getting over the whole I don't like golf portion of my brain. Okay, so what I brought up at the beginning, Nike is struggling. They are struggling with online sales right now. So let me give you a little backstory really quick. So Nike, what do we all know? Nike, well, during the right before the pandemic occurred, 2019, they started to move towards a direct to consumer, basically online. We all know their app. Their other app too, which I forgot what it was, to get like those limited releases when those drops occurred. I forgot what it was called, which never really worked, in my opinion, properly. Um, they were trying to move to a whole direct to consumer model during that time. And what happened? Pandemic happened. So the model worked. The model worked, but it worked inside a bubble. That's the problem. Yeah, it worked in a controlled environment. And I mean, we all know it was impossible to get Nikes. I mean, all the Nikes everybody wanted, right? The dunks. It was almost impossible to get them because there was so much demand. And Nike had moved to a direct to consumer model. You had to go on their website, you had to go through their app to get it. And it worked. Everything worked. So everybody was like, oh man, pat on the back. We worked. We did it. We solved the riddle. We solved the problem. We can cut out the middleman now. We can just sell them on our website. We can sell them through the app. We did it. We made it. Well, come post pandemic, what happened? They start that direct to consumer model they had, and or the cracks in the system started to show. Um, Yes, you can always buy Nikes online, Nike.com. Yeah, you can go on the app, buy through the app as well too before that. But it was never as large. They never really heavily relied upon it until 2019, 2020, 2021. Once, all restrictions were lifted and everybody was able to go out again, that's when everything started to go. The cracks in the system. Yeah, I never really saw any like logistical issues with ordering on Nike.com. I didn't really care for the website, but I don't really even care for Amazon website either. But it still worked. It worked great, and shoes came relatively quickly. I think all the logistics were really, were handled really well. But as people started going out and started ordering online less, then we started to see problems and issues arise, specifically with Nike. We're talking specifically with Nike. It's happened with a lot of other places, but Nike, the billion-dollar shoe company that everybody knows about, nobody thinks, oh, they could do no wrong. They have no problems, anything like that. They have same problems as us small-time e-commerce people. Just people like me that just sell on eBay, that go find items thrifting and resell them on eBay. You have those days where you have slow sales. You're like, what happened? Or you have a week, slow sales, like, what's going on? Something's wrong with the system, something's bad, something blah. Well, major billion-dollar companies have the same problems. Obviously, larger scale, though. The scale is different, but they have the same issues. They're struggling to get sales right now through their online channels, their direct consumer model they set up. Why? Because everybody's out and about. We're back to the 80%, 80% of sales coming from retail, 20% coming from online sales. I've mentioned this before. I don't think there's much more room to go for online sales. Maybe another 10%. I could see a 70-30, but that's about it. And I've discussed how, humans are social people. We love being out. Most of us love being out. Most of us love being out and about. Most of us love being at the malls. There's a lot of, a lot of information coming out, a lot of studies coming out about shopping malls. They're coming back. Everybody's going out, socializing. And social media is also fueling this. Everybody wants to be out at these different cool locations, showing off what they got, showing off where they're at, showing off their purchases. Kind of unexciting seeing it delivered to your door. You want to be seen with all the bags in your arms, Um, So Nike abandoned almost 100% a lot of that, a lot of retail space, a lot of other websites that were selling on. So Thursday, they announced they are going back to selling on Amazon. which is everybody's enemy, us other resellers that don't sell on Amazon, or even those that sell on Amazon that compete with or deal with those high fees that Amazon demands. Nike is going to Amazon. They're going back to Amazon to selling Nikes on there. Why? Because everybody shops on Amazon nowadays. They are the major player when it comes to online shopping, and having a presence there. Nike is beginning to realize again that, dang, we need a presence on Amazon. There are so many people that are on there that, it's the same thing where, I'm over at Target. I might as well pick up some milk because they have milk here. I came over here for some batteries, but I need Q-tips too. Let me go get some Q-tips. Or, oh, they have makeup, let me go get the makeup. And then, I need a chair or something. And then you go get a chair, right? Just a convenience factor. That's a thing online as well too. Someone's already on Amazon. They're already shopping for something else. Like, oh, I might as well pick up a pair of shoes since I'm here too. Combine the shipping, all that. So Nike is beginning to realize how, the error in their ways, and that they need to change this. A company that really took advantage of Amazon's, I'm sorry, Nike's pullback on, having their shoes in retail spaces. You might know this company as On Cloud, but the actual company name is On, but On Cloud is a style of their shoe. So the company On really, really, and Hoka's too as well, really took advantage of all the empty space that Nike was leaving behind in retail. There's a video on CNBC. It's on YouTube. You can look it up. um, these companies came in, and they were able to take advantage of the amazing product placement that Nike had in these stores and put their shoes there in front. So they blew up. Nike actually created their own competition. They created the loss in market share that they are currently suffering right now, to these other companies. Don't get me wrong, the other companies still have to have great products, and they do. I'm not really a big fan of Hoka, but I do am a big fan of On. The On Cloud Monsters being my favorite shoes. And by favorite shoes, I mean they got to stand up to I was gonna say 8-hour day, but really, really, it's like a 12 to 14-hour day at Disneyland. You know, we go, go, go. We get to Disneyland, we're going from open to close, and I always fit their hours on each different day, but they close like around midnight. So we're go, go, go all the time at Disneyland. And then even afterwards, once that closes, and then we spill out into downtown Disney, and most of downtown Disney is open till 2 a.m. So if those shoes can hold up to that, that's the standard I hold up to. And the On Cloud Monsters hold up to that. They are amazing shoes. I really, really do like those shoes. But those two companies took it, even whether they were aware they were taking advantage of the situation or not, they did. They took advantage of the situation that Nike left behind. So now Nike is in a situation where they are losing market share. Don't get me wrong, they're A-okay. They are fine, but they understand that if they lose enough market share, that they could be hurting in the future. They don't want to fade to, into a situation of irrelevance, or, where they still want to be that first option. Somebody walks in the store, I want Nikes. That's what they want to be. They want to be that first, that first brand in people's heads when they're looking for shoes. They don't want people to be coming in or shopping online, shopping in person. Oh man, I saw those those On Clouds. I saw those Hokas, whatever other brand you want to think of. I saw those, and those are the ones I want. Nike wants to be first in your brain, and they're going to try to plaster that everywhere again, not just keep it on their own website, not just keep it on their own app, not just keep it on their own maybe factory stores. They're going to try to put it everywhere now. And what is that? That's advertising, right? They're trying to plaster your name all over the place. You want people to remember your name. You want people to picture your name, your brand, your logo when they are out and about and searching for shoes or clothing at this point too, because they do clothing as well too. So, okay, I wasn't prepared for that, for the heat on that sip. I kind of started to talk too soon. Um, But a lot of companies pushed hard, and we're going like Nike, like the way of Nike, and they are, hurting right now, but a lot of them are, course correcting. Target is struggling a little bit right now. And the main problem is that they didn't really have much of a robust infrastructure when it comes to online shopping. They're losing to places like Walmart. When it comes to online shopping, they kind of Target was more shop online, shop on the app, pick up in store, have it ready in store. Kind of that's the way they were going. Not so much just keeping it all online, delivered to your home. You definitely need a combination of those two in this day and age for a lot of these larger companies. Obviously, that's not what I do. That's not what other people do. And this argument is just to show you that these large, multi-billion dollar, sometimes trillion-dollar companies, we know that, we're getting to trillion-dollar companies nowadays, um, struggle with the same issues that you and I and everybody else in the YouTube e-commerce space is having. Whether you're a one-man operation, two, three, 400-man, 1,000-man operation, 1,000-person operation, I should say, 1,000-person operation is what I should be saying. All suffer from the same problem. So when you think you are having issues, think of Nike having issues right now, and they are course correcting. They are going in and they are correcting. Obviously, they have a lot more resources at their disposal. At their disposal. Did I say that right? I think I said that right now. They have a lot more, money to spend on these things to get the ship right back in that direction. Um, so just be aware of that. Just something to be aware of. You're not the only one having issues trying to sell items on eBay. You're not the only one who's lacking in sales on eBay or selling online. There are other companies that are having the same exact problem, and they're trying to sort it out as well. You can definitely look to these companies, see what they're doing, and maybe you can't apply it at the same scale, but you can definitely help to find, tips and tricks and advice to see what they're doing to try to, of course, correct your own business. Now, Nike going on to Amazon, what does that potentially mean? That potentially means that if you do sell Nike shoes on Amazon, there is a potential of them taking them down, telling Amazon, we're going to come over, but we want you to take down all the other sellers because they obviously want to be that person. They want to be the source for Nike on Amazon. They're not going to want all these other third-party sellers selling on there. So definitely something to be aware of. If you do sell Nikes on there, and now Nike's going to come into Amazon, it could be just additional competition. So you might have to, they obviously can, play in the realm of lowering prices where you might not be able to, or they can go all the way to just saying, take your Nikes off. They're done. You're blocked. Everyone's blocked from selling Nikes on Amazon now. So definitely, something to think about, be aware of if you got to make adjustments or course corrections yourself, in your business, if that's something that you do. Okay. Big news in the stock market economy, whatever you wish to call it, but we're back to high tariffs on the EU, 50%, up to 50%, potentially started June 1st. I'm like, here we go again. And many people were saying this, here we go again with the threat of high tariffs, but it's getting to the point where you have to change your strategy at this point. The administration, you can't use that same, I'm going to throw high tariffs on there, and then a couple weeks later they come down or they come off, or, oh, we have a deal now, then that, what do you call it? The argument or the shots you're firing, they turn into like rubber bullets. They just start bouncing off. They're like, well, we've heard this story before. We know the outcome already. So why should we even be paying? Crying wolf, right? Why should we even be paying attention to this? So the market responded negatively, and it definitely popped. So the other day when I said the market's down due to the the sale of treasury bonds, and I said it would pop the next day, it definitely did pop the next day. but then it went back down again the day after that due to that news. But it didn't go down as hard as the original announcement of tariffs because now we're looking at it as a cry wolf situation. So that shot isn't really that great. It's more like a BB gun now. So, well, it's the EU. The EU. Yes, there is a big deal when it comes to trade. Don't get me wrong; it is a big deal when it comes to trade. But my bigger concern is with Asia. That's where my biggest concern is with them, as far as our trade agreements with them, how much product comes in from them, and all that. So that's really, really where the most of my yes, we got some sort of deal going on is with Asia. EU is more like, right, it'd be great if we have a deal with them. It's not the end of the world that it's at 50%, but it's still concerning. It's still concerning. Now, in my personal opinion, if anybody is listening, the biggest way, other than raising tariffs on them, because right now I think it's an empty threat, I would kind of make a deal with somebody or a nation that perhaps they wouldn't see coming, with a nation that is perhaps their enemy. I would make a deal with Russia. That's what I would do. Personally, if I wanted to force them to the bargaining table, I wanted to force their hand, I would be like, hey, let's, even if it's just, not even true, not even 100% true. And maybe you had the conversation over the phone. You were just like, just hanging out on a Sunday afternoon. You're like, hey, what do you think about this? Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that later. And then you hang up the phone, then you announce, hey, I had a phone call with Russia, and, we're looking to get a trade deal done. Uh, that's something like I would do, or announce like, your the, what do you call it? I want to say embargo or whatever penalties that are enforced on them right now. We're taking them down or something like that. I would do something just wild, announce something wild like that, to really, really catch them off guard. And then they're like, hey, man, what the heck's going on here? Well, who they're dealing with who? They're doing. We better do call them up, get everybody on the phone, get everybody from Washington up on the phone right now. We need to get a deal done. That's the attack. That's the attack I would do. Those are the shots that I would fire. I wouldn't be using my old my old little pea shooter. Nah, that's already been done, already been used. It's done. It's over with. Time to retire that. Let's move on to some new tactics. With that being said, there could be well, actually, no, because Scotland's in England. So we have some sort of an active agreement with England. Who knows what the details are on that? So that will not, hopefully, well, it may affect some Scotch, but who knows? But either way, those are my thoughts on e-commerce, Nike, what's happening in the world of tariffs, what's something to be aware of. The market's just reacting to the news, so don't know. Just because it's going down, it's just reacting to the news. That's it. There's no real, technically fundamental reasons for it to be going down at this point in time. All the data support, business as usual. Like I said before in a previous video, though, come end of summer, we may start to feel the effects of some of these tariffs if everything continues as is. We may still feel some minor effects, just, due to the fact that there are some increased tariffs. And then again, like I said, hitting really hard if everything stays the way it is, towards the end of the year. But it's all it's all I don't know, a big board game, a big, we're all positioning our players, and all us little people are trying to navigate this and trying to figure things out and trying to get sales and, what sells, what doesn't sell. So I hope you enjoyed this content. I hope you enjoyed this, my podcast style video. Hope you enjoyed whatever. I'm trying to make adjustments and trying to, obviously make it better. That's what I want. More views. Struggling for more views. We're trying to get more views on everything. Thanks for watching. If you do watch the videos regularly, I definitely appreciate that. If you are subscribed, please subscribe. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. Like the video, hit the thumbs up, and comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Nike, about anything I said, about the shoes I picked up earlier, anything. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.